The first question would be, can I be my real self here? And of course, that means I'm up sometimes, down sometimes. I have doubts, fears, uncertainties, inconsistencies. Can I bring blind spots? Can I bring all that here? The other question that came to me, if I do bring my real self, can I still belong? I think often we kind of make trades, a little bit of this for a little bit of that. And I'm really happy to share, at least it appears to me, the answer to both these questions is yes. You can bring your real self and still experience a sense of belonging here. We open our doors to everyone at Unity in Lynnwood. That means, of course, people from all religious backgrounds, no religious background at all walks of life, all different experiences, all various lifestyles. Of course, we're not the same. Our goal is to meet one another on the ground floor, that level of our basic humanity, where, of course, we are more alike than different. There's a belief here, too, that we are enriched by knowing people whose stories and experiences differ from our own. I read a sentence from a book on meditation just yesterday, and it seemed to fit. The sentence reads like this: life has a simple and fiercely kind invitation for us to be as we are in the face of what is. That what is, I believe, includes all those things that bring up great big why questions, like why is there so much suffering, and why do people hurt people, and why can't people see when they're hurting people, and why can't I see, and what is it I can't? Big questions, you know, the ones we chew on around here. What I want to share is that it's easier for me to look at those big why questions without giving in to the powerlessness of it all, because I have spiritual community. We're reminded here constantly that each of us carries divine potential within us, and we can bring our good stuff to the table with a little help from our friends. When we do, it sustains us, and we sustain each other. We have tools in Unity to help us deal with the big what is of life. Our tools are meditation and prayer. Both of these words can really be loaded, as you know. They can carry many meanings, and some of them just get a little worn out, we find sometimes. One thing our community offers is an opportunity to examine words like prayer and meditation so we can refresh our understanding and bring new life and meaning to these words. We want our tools to be useful every day. We can do that here through ongoing adult education classes, so keep your ears open. There will be one announced. I've come to define meditation as a process of making myself available to divine mind. And I have several favorite ways, but here we are invited to claim our own favorite ways. Unity uses denials and affirmative prayer as tools for guiding thoughts, because there's a quite shared belief that the thoughts we hold in mind and the things we say out loud are powerful and they're creative. We want to support the unfolding of a higher truth, one that aligns with divine purpose. Unity emphasizes action, always action, turning truth into action in our daily lives. Charles Fillmore, a Unity co-founder, offered these words: just one truth statement, understood and demonstrated in life, is worth more than many lessons and statements about truth. So, to help us all throughout the weeks, we have a dedicated team of prayer chaplains at Unity in Lynnwood to support all of us in our own work through the work they do. Our prayer chaplains receive prayer requests from us, and we can get those requests to them in many ways, and I'll make a quick review. You'll see a prayer request card right in the back of the chair in front of you. Easy way is to write your prayer request and slip it into the offering basket. And then there is always a confidential prayer line, and there is our prayer access link at our website, unityinlynnwood.org. The number and the address is always available in our bulletin here. If you have an app on your smartphone, it's a few clicks away, and there's your prayer request form. On Sundays, our prayer chaplains stay after service, so if you have something heavy in your heart or a big fat joy you want to share, they're available up here at the end of service on Sundays. They're honored to meet with you individually. Today, our prayer chaplains welcome us back to the family room right at the back of the sanctuary on the other side of the glass windows for Divine Wholeness session. This is a silent, sacred time of being supported by a prayer chaplain as we open to the movement of the Holy Spirit. I want to ask the prayer chaplains to quickly stand, those who are with us right now, so we can just say a simple thank you for your service. Each week, we share together a denial and an affirmation to set our minds in the direction of highest truth, to strengthen us for the upcoming week. In the spirit of the reading, this one's pretty fun for us this morning. I'll read it, and then I'll invite you to stand and share it with me. When that tired song of mediocrity starts with its same sad strains, I turn that mess down, and I crank up a jam of higher possibility. If it works for you, please stand and we'll share this together. Ready? When that tired song of mediocrity starts with its same sad strains, I turn that mess down, and I crank up a jam of higher possibility. While we're on our feet, let's say hi to each other this morning.
Get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Hey, Cameron. Everybody, get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Ran away from the sun, ran away from the rain, hid away from everyone, ran away from the pain. Now I'm so out of breath, now I'm so scared to death. I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground. No more running round. Here I am. Here I am. What's a life covered up? Day and night not to fail. Like a life without love is its own kind of jail. What a waste to regret what I haven't tried yet. I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground with my heart unbound. Here I am. Here I am. Throw in the game just to make sure that I never win. Kept counting myself out again and again. So nervous, running in circles till nobody knew where I'd been. Maybe today is the day that I let it all in. Maybe my secret hurts, no original sin. It's time, I've made up my mind. I'm ready to dive in. I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground. I will sing out loud. I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground. No more running around. Here I
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you wanna?
Who's in trouble, she says. She says, who's in trouble, somebody said. Good morning, Unity in Lynnwood. Good morning, Unity in Lynnwood. Good morning, Unity in Lynnwood. Small group ministry. How thrilling it is. It is still thrilling. It's even becoming more thrilling as we wait to be able to offer you just having fun. Thank you, Maple. Thank you, Cameron. You do an awesome, awesome job. To be able to offer you opportunities to deepen relationships as we sojourn together on our spiritual paths. Of note, the third act is a new group that will begin not on August 19th, but on August 9th. I was corrected after the first service. Thank you to all who keep me on the straight and narrow. I read from their copy. It says, this is a group of seniors focused on the art of growing older with fun and grace. What do you think? How about that? Woo! I have no idea what the minimum age requirement is, but I'm already looking forward to it. In fact, I may qualify. I don't really know yet. I will be certain to ask. Practical spirituality, welcoming community, an admittedly short mission statement, and yet I believe it speaks volumes. So every week I like to support this with one of the 6 bullet points which we developed in conversation with your Board of Trustees beginning in late 2014. Time flies, am I right? We have been having this conversation since 2014. It feels like yesterday. I'm still on a honeymoon with you, baby. I am on a honeymoon with you. Woo! So take this one in and see if it feels like a value with which you can align. We welcome people from all spiritual traditions and from no spiritual tradition whatsoever into every activity of unity in Lynnwood. You good with that? Me too. Me too. I will offer words of invocation that were used by Charles Fillmore, and immediately following those words, I will be offering the first of today's 2 lessons. Yes, 2. I should introduce you anyway, Lynn Burton Harden. Thank you for that. Every service has an ambassador, a noble, knowledgeable soul who is here to assist you in your exploration and discovery of this divine idea we share. So if you have a question about what we believe, about what we teach, about what is available to you, you are welcome to engage your 11 o'clock ambassador in that conversation, that they might have a face. Please wave to this kind assembly, please. And Lynn has also beautifully demonstrated the art of standing. Let us take his example and rise together for these words of invocation, followed by the first of your 2 lessons today. Fillmore used the words that began as follows. I am now in the presence of pure being. Together. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit, and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge this presence and this power. In your divine wisdom, now erase my mortal limitations. And from your pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world. According to your perfect law. The words arrived in my awareness as some iteration of the following. Hello, first-time visitor.
Hello, first-time visitor.
Okay, that's not actually. It's not actually where I'm going, but thank you. No, stay up. The words arrived in my awareness as hello, first-time visitor. We're glad you're here, but that chair you occupy, that's where I normally sit. Yes. So, let me give you an idea. To be a community of intentional welcome will at times challenge our sense of personal comfort. Somebody, someday, baby, is going to be in your chair. So here is your lesson for today. I would like you to begin by turning to someone near to you and saying the following. Would you like to sit in my chair today? Thank you. Woo! We do have 3 cars parked in no parking zones. If you believe yourself to be one of them and you are courageous enough to do so, you are welcome simply to dangle your keys in the air, and one member from our welcome team will retrieve the keys from you and move your car to a safe location. If you choose to not acknowledge it, but simply to sneak out pretending to go to the restroom, or that's fine as well. But if you're in a no parking zone, for the safety of all, you're welcome to dangle your keys at this time. Thank you. Beautiful. They will take excellent care of your car, and be sure that you are delivered immediately to it following service. Thank you for your kind understanding. If you're like me, you might have experienced something of a sense of loss of late. There are times when I'm tempted to feel that the American flag has been taken from me. I'm tempted to feel that the American flag has been taken from me every time someone drapes it over his shoulders to burn a cross. I'm tempted to feel that it's been taken from me every time it trails behind some vehicle bearing multiple swastika bumper stickers. I'm tempted to feel that the American flag has been taken from me every time it's used in a social media meme designed to encourage us back to our imaginary roots as a territory of white Europeans. Now, I feel at times that the truth has been taken from me, for it seems that no matter my position on ecology, economics, science, medicine, history, or the weather, there are seemingly credible sources fashioning seemingly credible arguments against my position, and an equal number of seemingly credible organizations fashioning credible arguments for my position. I feel that the truth has been taken from me because seemingly credible arguments have become more important than self-evident truths. It's as if we've become a society of clever defense attorneys. We have to defend our clients first, with a lesser regard to whether or not our clients are actually innocent. We have to defend our positionality first, with a lesser regard for whether or not our positions are actually true. And there are times when I'm tempted to feel that my Christianity has been taken from me. I'm tempted to feel that my Christianity has been usurped by those who would claim it by virtue of saying the right words, without any expanded commitment to equality among all people. I feel that my Christianity has been stripped by those who would claim it by virtue of completing the ascribed rituals, without any increased pursuit of justice in our society. I find my Christianity robbed by those who would claim it by virtue of making the biggest donation, of sitting in the right seat, of cultivating the right alliance without any deepened commitment to caring for the neighbor, welcoming the stranger, forgiving the trespasser, removing the log, feeding the hungry, healing the sick, loving the persecutor, seeing beyond appearance, and dying for truth. I find my Christianity kidnapped by those for whom a radical movement of inner awakening and outer transformation would be blatantly leveraged as nothing more than a practical vehicle for personal acquisition. As I've said before, this is the reason it's one of the most difficult questions I'm presented to answer, and it happens on airplanes, and it happens in Starbucks, and it happens at the bank. It happens everywhere that forced conversations and empty exchanges are encouraged. And in all honesty, I wish these forced conversations would stop. I was recently asked at the Starbucks drive-thru, so what are you guys up to today? And I was wearing my Sunday bow tie, and I've decided to make quite a game of it. So I said, well, we're on our way for a day of skydiving. My travel companion just loves it when I do that. And I am well prepared with the next one that goes something like this. So what are you guys up to today? Well, I'm an internationally acclaimed hand model on my way to a shoot. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Happy skydiving. It's one of the most difficult questions I receive. It goes something like this: are you a Christian? Now, it's one of the most difficult questions I receive because it typically means, do you exclude the same people I exclude? Or do you exercise the same prejudices I exercise? Do you build the same fences I build? It ultimately means, do we belong to the same club? Okay? It's one of the most difficult questions I receive because if you have to ask the question, there's usually no reasonable chance that we're talking about the same Christianity. And even if I were to say yes, it seldom ends pretty. Even if I were to agree that I exclude the atheist, which I don't, we would find ourselves parting ways over the agnostics. And even if I were to agree that I exclude the agnostics, which I don't, we would find ourselves parting ways over the Anglicans. It's like the old joke. I feel like I'm the guy on the bridge ready to jump when a would-be well-doer approaches and says, do you believe in God? And if I say yes, well, he comes a little closer. Are you a Christian? And if I say yes, he comes yet a little closer. Are you a Protestant or a Catholic? And if I say Protestant, why, he faces me square on. Are you a Baptist or a Methodist? If I say Baptist, he places a hand on my shoulder. Northern Conservative Great Lakes or Northern Conservative Eastern. And if I say, well, Northern Conservative Great Lakes, he readies for a full-on embrace. But when he asks Northern Conservative Great Lakes Council of 1879 or Northern Conservative Great Lakes Council of 1912, and I say 1912, he pushes me over the railing. You see, I have to remind myself that to live in a Christ-like way has absolutely nothing to do with ridiculous questions which ultimately translate into, do we belong to the same club? It happened in a unity class that I challenged the teachers by suggesting that the very heart of the Christian idea might be best demonstrated by some who have never heard of Christianity. It didn't go well. It happened in week 2 that I told a true story. They appeared for lunch every day. Buddhists and Jains and agnostics, atheists, Hindus, Zoroastrians, all descending for a free meal, shared shoulder to shoulder. And even as that number approached 10,000, no one was turned away. And I experienced this at the Parliament of the world's religions, a tradition that began some 500 years past when a young man was sent forth by his father with some change. And his father told him to make a wise investment. And when the young man returned, he told his father that he had done just that. He fed people who loved God. Well, I suggested that this was a clear example of feeding the hungry. It happened in week 3 that I told another true story. An angry man approached another during his prayer time, and for reasons unknown, he spat upon the one praying. And the one praying responded only by smiling, which infuriated the angry man who stormed off. And this image of the one praying, smiling, haunted the angry man throughout the evening. So he returned the next day and found the one meditating still smiling. And he said, "How can you smile at me? I am the same man who spat upon you yesterday." And the meditator responded simply by saying, No, you aren't. No, you aren't. The man who spat upon me yesterday no longer exists. And I suggested that this was a clear example of forgiving the trespasser. It happened again in week 4 that I told a true story. It was a woman who threw garbage on the path of her chosen enemy day after day after day until the day came that the chosen enemy emerged from his home, only to discover that the path was clean. There was no garbage. So he inquired about what happened to the woman, only to learn that she had taken ill. And while it might be tempting to imagine that he rejoiced in this newfound freedom, he didn't. Rather, he went to the woman in great compassion, and he extended his help throughout the entirety of her recovery. And I suggested that this was a clear example of loving a persecutor, a clear example of feeding the hungry, initiated by the first sick to offer a languor feast, a provocative example of forgiving the trespasser, demonstrated by the historic Buddha himself, and an inspiring example of loving the persecutor, offered by the Prophet Muhammad, may he rest in peace. It was in week 5 that one of the teachers said, I guess it's possible that the very heart of the Christian idea might be best demonstrated by some who have never heard of Christianity. Now, the point is, to live in a Christ-like way has nothing to do with ridiculous questions, which ultimately translate into, do we belong in the same club? In fact, I might argue that the very most enlightened Christians look a lot like the very most enlightened Sikhs, who look a lot like the very most enlightened Buddhists, who look a lot like the very most enlightened agnostics and atheists. I might go so far as to argue that the avatars of our faith traditions often bear a striking resemblance one to the other. You see, the real issue isn't that there's tension among the faith traditions of the world. The real issue is that there's tension within the faith traditions of the world, tension between those who would leverage their traditions as weapons to press us down and keep us apart, and those who would leverage their traditions as tools to lift us up and to bring us together. Ultimately, there's tension between those who would leverage their tradition to build fences and those who would leverage their tradition to remove them. To live in a Christ-like way has nothing to do with ridiculous questions, which ultimately translate into, do we belong to the same club? To live in a Christ-like way is to walk a path broad enough to be trod by men and women, straights and gays, a path broad enough to be trod by Sikhs and Buddhists, Muslims, agnostics and atheists, a path broad enough to be trod by Eastern and Western, rich and poor. To live in a Christ-like way is to care for the neighbor, to welcome the stranger, to forgive the trespasser out loud. It's to greet the unfamiliar faces in your grocery stores and in your neighborhoods, to reach across the translucent aisles of culture and understanding with a warm greeting. It's to elevate beyond the energies of past circumstances and to loose the cords of old wounds so loudly that no one even has to ask the question. To live in a Christ-like way is to feed the hungry, to heal the sick, to love the persecutor out loud. It's to share of our amazing blessings. And if you are sitting in a room such as this, if you are listening to this on your telephone, if you are watching this on your screen, your blessings are ample. It's to share of our amazing blessings of time and talent and treasure with a softened concern for another's deservability or worth. It's to touch the countless untouchable, unclean, and alienated of our world with gentle eyes and with soft hearts, kind words. It's to respond to those who would spit in your face by smiling so loudly that no one has to ask you the question. To live in a Christ-like way is to see beyond circumstance and to die for truth out loud. It's to live from that deep knowing shared by the saints and the sages of all generations that there's so much more to you than that physical body of yours. There's so much more to you than any past failure, any seeming limitation. There's so much more to your loved ones. There's so much more to truth. There's so much more to reality. To live in a Christ-like way is to perceive beyond, to speak above, and to live through all transient experiences of the sensory self, to perceive beyond limitation, to speak above separation, and to live through the many death experiences of this world so loudly that no one has to ask you the question. It was the rabbi himself who is reported to have said, and you realize that's as good as it gets, right? He's reported to have said, and I paraphrase, people, you will not recognize each other by asking questions at Starbucks or on airplanes or at the bank. You'll recognize each other by the quality of your love. You'll recognize each other just by looking. So at the end of the day, if someone still has to ask you the question, perhaps you're quite simply not loving loudly enough. Perhaps if someone still has to ask you the question, your implied charge at the end of this day is to turn up the volume. Take a deep breath. Let's close those outer eyes together. Let's come into something of a high and noble knowingness. Let us claim that which is that is true. In a most self-evident way, there is one. There is one. By virtue of the fact that there is one, there cannot be two. There is one beingness. There is one isness from which all expressed beingness, from which all expressed isness emanates. There is one. Therefore, what we can acknowledge is that this beingness, this isness, by virtue of its existence as one, is right here. This geography is filled with it. Our bodies are filled with it. We cannot stand outside of it. And because we gather in buildings such as this, on mornings such as this, let us choose to name this beingness, this indivisible isness. Let's choose to name it God. God is here. God is now. God within me becomes the mantra of the awakening self. God within me. God within me. God in the midst of me. And so if there would be any lesser idea, any low self-estimation, any nagging habit, we hereby declare our willingness to loose it, to free it, to have it dissolve back into the nothingness from which it rose, knowing that it has no life of its own. That we might stand forth as Emerson's hollow reed of all that we know God to be, that we might stand forth as a hollow reed for that life itself, for its wisdom, ample to any sense of confusion or incompletion, that we might stand forth as a hollow reed for that sufficiency. We live in givingness, that we might stand forth as a vehicle for that harmony that keeps the planets in perfect accord and longs only to prove itself through human hands and through human hearts. So we turn in our awareness to that. We are not beseeching that which isn't. We're turning toward that which already is. Using our imagination, we imagine our hearts opening, our minds opening. We imagine our very selves elevated into that which is. We'll just hold that awareness. As we consider reopening those human eyes, which would offer such partial truths, we do not abandon this knowingness. We do not abandon this remembering, but we bring it forth. We bring it forth. We allow it to become the lens through which we experience our worlds. This is what it means to be the light. And so if you're like me, we close this time of remembering, this time of prayer, this time of meditation with a welling sense of gratitude. And if this is a position with which you can align, if this is a consciousness which you choose to embrace on this day, we close this experience by saying, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. I can imagine no finer demonstration of what it means to live in a Christ-like way, and to welcome the leadership team of your local humanitarian outreach ministries, hands-on housing initiative, to speak to you about the upcoming project next Saturday. Will you welcome them and love them, please? Thank you.
Good morning. This is your leadership team.
Right on.
We need the pitchfork with the woman now. So 5 months ago, we came to you with an idea of taking our practical spirituality and bringing it into the community. We called that idea hands-on housing, to do a one-day makeover of a needful person in our community. And thanks to your generosity and your willing to help, in 5 days, that is going to happen. So thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. So on August 3rd from 8 to 5, we will be at the home of Cheryl Martins. Some of you have signed up for morning. Some of you have signed up afternoon. You would be welcome to come the whole time. But we especially would like you there between 12 and 1 when we'll be serving lunch. And at 12:30, we'll be doing a group picture with all of you in your lovely teal t-shirts, which are on the back table. On these postcards, Thank you, Dr. Richard, for doing those lovely postcards. It's all the information you will need. And if you did not get one last week and you are planning on being there this coming Saturday, raise your hand and you will be given a postcard. So, shuttle service is being provided by Tori, our lead shuttle person over there, and Maple Park Church has generously allowed us to use their parking lot, which is 2 minutes away from Cheryl's house, because there's really no parking near her house. So shuttle service will be happening throughout the day, most consistently at 8 in the morning when there's going to be a big rush, and at 12, and again at 1. But Tori has generously offered to be available throughout the day. So if you are not an 8 o'clock, let me get going kind of person and can't make it until 9, that's fine. And if you feel that you're fading before the end of your shift, that's fine. We can take you back to your car. So thank you, Tori, for your willingness to do that throughout the day. And we also had some people step up to add their personal vans, so there'll be plenty of vans there to get you down there quickly. On the postcard, as I said, will be all the information, but I just want to highlight a couple of things. Please dress for your comfort and for your safety. It's going to be hot that day, we think, so sunscreen, sun hats, and we need closed-toed shoes for your safety, no sandals. We will have pickaxes and chainsaws and things going on, so. And then garden gloves. Heavy ones would be great. Bring your own lawn tools if you have them and mark them with masking tape with your name on them so they don't get misplaced. And water will be provided, but keep yourself hydrated throughout the day. We want you to be comfortable. So if you're like me and you have arthritic knees and you need a little stool to sit on or a blanket to kneel on, bring it with you. Blankets for lunch would be great too. We're just very excited to see you. And the preparation has already begun, which Daniel's going to tell you about. And I stopped by and saw Cheryl yesterday, and she is absolutely thrilled and waiting to meet all of you.
Thanks, Wayne. So a lot of you have asked me, is it coming together? Let me tell you, in a big way. We have 81 people in our congregation signed up so far. And we can take more, right? So again, as Wayne said, whatever convenience works for you, morning, afternoon, or a few hours during the day. Big time at lunch. So we do have about 14 that haven't had their background checks done, so please check the back table and let's make sure we can get those taken care of. Nancy Joy this morning during the reading basically said, joy, fun, happiness, and love that bring us together and closer to God. I have to tell you, yesterday, our leadership team was out at the site getting everything ready, and we were closer to God. We were wet, we were dirty, and we were with God, right? Having said all that, we do have a few things that we still are asking for. So if you're coming the day of the event, bring your gardening equipment with you. We'll have a lot of it provided, so don't worry if you don't. But wheelbarrows, shovels, a few other things. We had a great response from the first service, so that personal car shuttlers, we're going to have people. We have a church that's about 2 to 3 minutes away that's going to let us use their parking lot. So that's what the address is on those little postcards. You'll meet there, and then we'll use our church shuttle services as well as some of our personal shuttlers that'll shuttle you to the site. We'll have several pop-up tents there, so you'll see a big Unity in Lynnwood sign out there. We'll have a check-in, kind of safety screening, and then with our strong leadership team here, we've parceled out probably about 30 or 40 projects, and we've broken those down into the ladies and gentlemen behind me are then going to lead each of you as we go through this complete renovation. And then trailer drivers. If anybody knows how to back a trailer and or has a truck, please see me after the service. We could use that as well. And t-shirts?
So lastly, the t-shirts on the back table, they're organized by size. So you're welcome to pick yours up today so you will have it ready to wear on the day of. Please remember to cross your name off the list so that we know you got it. We did extend the t-shirt order through the 14th, not knowing for sure whether it would make it, but wanting to give people a chance, and that order has not quite come yet. So we're hoping it will be here before next Saturday, and I will bring those t-shirts to the event. So I am looking forward to this. It's going to be so much fun. There's going to be music, there's going to be food, and I'm going to get to meet a lot of you that I've never gotten to talk to before. So I'm really excited about that part of the project too, bringing our community together. So we'll see you on Saturday.
So our last slide really is that visioning process, right? So picture we've got Steve Mason at lunch playing some music. We've got Smell of Sawdust in the background, right? We've got people covered with paint kind of from their hands to their elbows. This is going to be a blast. So we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Thank you.
You know how I started at the very beginning saying I wanted to appreciate this beautiful place because I never want to take it for granted, how those things that are familiar, that get familiar to us, can be taken for granted. I've thought of several other things. I never want to take for granted the quality and the power of the inspirational message we get used to receiving week after week after week after week. And I don't want to take for granted the quality of the music we hear right in this place, week after week after week. Nor the opportunities that come up in an ongoing way, just like this team has put together for us today, opportunities to be of meaningful service in the world. So thanks, 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 thanks. And artistic readers, my gosh. This is the time in every week service that we want to offer an opportunity for giving back something to this community. Really got the gratitude juices flowing there. This time in the way of our financial gifts. We know now that Unity in Lynnwood's footprint is extending beyond our walls, right through that camera up there. We have a Facebook presence and we welcome the people that are with us but can't be in this room. We're glad you're here with us as well. If you find inspiration in these messages, from the music, from your participation in this community, we hope you will support the work through your tithes and love offerings. We want to thank everyone who is making contribution and acknowledge that those who are here with us through Livestream have opportunity to do the same on the viewing page or at the Unity in Lynnwood website. Thank you all for all your gifts.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say
And for the gifts that have been given, together we bless them on behalf of each giver and each receiver. May they expand the reach of our love into the world. And so it is. Thank you, ushers, for your service. And platform assistants, try to model imperfection every now and then, as I did by letting you read for yourselves that wonderful affirmation that went with our offering. I'm making a guess that Cameron didn't miss it, even though I might have. Okay. This is a moment when we like to pause and just give anyone who might be with us for the very first time an opportunity to let us know that. We don't put people on the spot, try hard not to, but we have a special thank you for being here clap that we'd like to give you if you are here for the first time. Is there anyone here with us for the first time this morning? So, to orient anyone who is still in the getting oriented stage, there are newcomer information cards in the back of the chairs. There are stay in touch cards if you aren't yet on our mailing list. It only results in a couple of emails a month. We also have a DVD packet right to the left of the door as you exit that shows the kinds of activities that go on here. We also invite newcomers to stop by the gift shop and to pick up a personal copy of Daily Word, just a small little daily affirmation book, inspiring book. And I want to invite everyone, please come across the hall to enjoy refreshments and conversation after service today. Today it happens to be the Board of Trustees that are providing our refreshments, and so any donations made will go to the building fund. Thank you for that in advance. As always, just a reminder, swing by the Welcome and Information Station. There are sign-up sheets. It will remind you what's happening. It can be difficult to stay on top of all the things that are going on. I have the flower dedication this morning in several directions. Today's flowers are dedicated by Christine Gross for her beloved sister, Kathy Heiler, to Mary Sue Brooks from John in gratitude for 15 years of marriage and 20 years of partnership. And to you, to all of us, from Nan Allen, in gratitude for our love and support. Nan, we receive your love and we send ours back to you. If you would like to make a flower donation, please do so in our gift shop for a suggested love offering of only $10. Announcing a fun, well-organized, attractive, everybody in upscale rummage style fundraiser on August 24th. That's a lot to roll off the tongue. Donate your clean, undamaged, new, gently used, or vintage items on any Sunday. I saw people walking in with some things this morning. Art, electronics, household items, books, CDs, tools, clothing, and more. We also welcome your ideas and your help. Just register at the Welcome and Information Station where you will find Nancy or Rosalie, project co-chairs. Tuesday is the last day to join the adult education course titled Prosperity. Examine the teachings of Fillmore, Butterworth, and Lynn Twist. Explore the meaning of prosperity beyond material things. Create practices to discover and address unexamined, unconscious assumptions about abundance, giving, and generosity. Join Dr. Richard and members of Unity in Lynnwood's Board of Trustees for this SEE accredited exploration. There are 3 required books, and those are available in the gift shop. Interfaith at Unity in Lynnwood presents Spiritual Saturdays with Rabbi Ted Falcon on Saturday, August 10th at 11 a.m. Along with talented musicians, Rabbi Ted shares the universal teachings of the Jewish wisdom tradition in this monthly intentional spiritual gathering. Through teaching, song, and meditation, he co-creates an environment supporting our awakening to the more profound levels of our own identity. I have heard there are a couple of pirates on the decks, and I want to invite them on down. Oh, there's a pirate, Karen Breen James pirate, and a Nina Clark pirate.
Ahoy, me hearties. I'm hoping for not a stiff breeze, because this hat's not on too good.
First Mate Nina, what do you call a pirate with 2 eyes and 2 legs?
I don't know, Captain Karen. What do ye call a pirate with 2 eyes and 2 legs?
A rookie. First Mate Nina, why is pirating so addictive?
They say once ye lose your first hand, ye get hooked.
First Mate Nina, what does a pirate use to find out what the date is?
Ha! He uses his calendar.
And speaking of calendars, we are inviting each and every one of you to don your pirate cooks and eye patches and hats and join us for a night of treasure and treats on Saturday, October 26th. You'll be enthralled by the music of Jerome Johnson.
We can wave, because he might be watching today.
And there be dancing if your peg leg can stand it.
Today, we have our spy glasses out, and from the crow's nest, we be looking for sponsors. For don't you know, sponsors give us the budget to make the gala possible. Captain Karen and First Mate Nina will be at the table at the back of the sanctuary with forms and answers for your questions after service.
Thank you for your time, mateys, and we look forward to seeing you on October 26th with bells, patches, and parrots on.
And never do we want to take for granted all the fun we have around here while we're doing other really good things. So, I did want to mention, the bulletins are available both in the lobby and now in the gift store as well. So, if you didn't pick yours up for the month, please do. This is the very last Sunday of the month. How about doing that next Sunday? That would probably work better for you. Is that correct? Come on up, Dr. Richard. All I have to say is all good things happening at Unity in Lynnwood, that's your cue, can be found in that very bulletin. I
couldn't come forward without a cue. I mean, it was like it was a block.
I think I lost it about a little time ago. So all the good things that happen can be found here or on our website or on your app. It's Richard's turn again.
Linda Baven, woo! Oh, man. Oh, man. Next Sunday, the Winterlings will be in providing music you don't want to miss it, a creative duo. Oh, my heavens. We've been closing our service slightly differently of late with a song of blessing. So if you feel so inclined, let's do this standing, shall we? The words will appear on your screen, and Matthew will lead us and hold each other in our hearts with these words.
May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you.
And if there's a first name of any soul you would like to invite into this, just speak it out loud now. So on behalf of all those spoken, on behalf of those who stand to our right and to our left, we stand in our deep knowledge of all that we know God to be. We remember, we recognize that life, that harmony, that sufficiency. And we send forth these words.
And the pure light within you
close this time of blessing by lifting our voices together and speaking these words of benediction. There is one power and one presence in, through, and around all creation. So we go forth as the eyes of divine love, as the tongues of divine wisdom, as the hands of divine sufficiency, and the bold and ready hearts of divine life. Have a great week, Unity in Lynnwood.